from now onwards, from 9 o'clock on Saturdays, right up to 11 o'clock. Welcome to the first live chat. I am Advocate Tudo Hoyani. And like I indicated in my video this morning, I'll be looking at the issue of defamation. What is defamation? What is it to defame somebody? Because we are seeing a lot of whistleblowers come under attack from people who allege that they have defamed them. So they end up suing these people and taking them to court. And as we all know, taking any matter to court can be very costly. You either have the money or you don't. So in a sense, you get justice. If you have the money, no justice. But is this a fair arrangement? In my own opinion, I don't think it's a fair arrangement. Justice is not just for the wealthy. Justice is not just for the rich. Justice is for every South African who feels aggrieved by one thing or another. So that the accessibility of justice should not be only based on whether you have the financial means or whether you don't. But unfortunately, that is the way things are. So a lot of people like Patricia Mashali will find themselves, slapped with defamation suits by perhaps those who have, the financial muscle to do so, get the best lawyers in place, and get on with the matter. So it is now up to the person who is being sued for defamation to similarly look for a lawyer and possibly defend that action, because those actions also come with, cost orders. So it's can be very, very uncomfortable, and those cost orders can run into thousands and thousands of rands. So what do you think? Are whistleblowers properly protected in South Africa? Or do we need to put in a regime in place? Let me just sort out something here for you so that I can see these messages as they come in. I'm just trying to sort out something here. Just bear with me. I can see a lot of you are coming in. Morning, Advocate. That is from Kize. Morning, Kize. So what I was saying is, we need to protect our whistleblowers. If you just look at, the sort of things that are happening before the Matlanga Commission, it is shocking that as a country, we have been reduced to that level. We have been reduced to something worse than a banana republic. South Africa is making the headline these days for all the wrong reasons. And it all boils down to corruption. I recall some years back, the late Bishop Desmond Tutu making a statement wherein he was warning the ANC that one day we'll be praying for you. You have totally lost the plot. That is what Desmond Tutu told them. You have totally lost the plot. This is not what we fought for. This is not the freedom that we envisaged. Following those pronouncements or that condemnation of the ANC, we saw Bishop Tutu then get marginalized within the ANC. And it was very sad. I remember vividly the funeral of Nelson Mandela. that Desmond Tutu, in spite of his closeness to the late Madiba, may his soul rest in peace. Bishop Desmond Tutu was relegated, to the margins of that funeral. He never featured anywhere. He was simply on the sidelines of that funeral. It was very sad to see something like that. Probably because the ANC had been, or was clearly uncomfortable with some of the things that he had been saying about the party as we saw his decline. But if you look at what Desmond Tutu was saying, and you look at where the ANC is today in terms of, support, its core support, especially among black people, then you'll see that we are just on the wrong trajectory. South Africa is just on the wrong trajectory. But it is on the corruption front where things are really very, very worrying. Corruption has become a cancer in this country. What do you think? I am particularly concerned about the levels of criminality that we are seeing in the country. Especially like I indicated earlier on, as it unfolds, for instance, in the Matanga Commission. We are seeing criminal syndicates take over this country. We are seeing allegations or hearing of allegations of people in very, very high places, some of the most senior people in government, getting their names dragged through the mud because allegedly they were involved in one form of corruption or another. So, but this is the reality of the South Africa that we now live in. From time to time, from time to time you'll hear a cow or two passing on the road. I'm not too far from the road where I'm sitting. So please bear with me for those sounds, but they will not muffle my voice. I'll make sure that my big voice does not get muffled by those sounds, and we'll keep the conversations going. Somebody says Zulu. Yes, Beg, I think that is what is written here. Advocate, what can we do to assist the defense lawyers? This is no longer just a case. We are involved also now. Thank you for that, Zulu. Although I'm talking about whistleblowers and what Patricia Mashali has been facing, I can get into that. I think he's talking about the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Because, the Daily Fix has been so associated with the Senzo Meyiwa trial that some people can mistake it for a Senzo Meyiwa channel. But that is not the only thing we deal with on the Daily Fix. We cover a number of topics. But anyway, to come back to what Zulu was saying, how can we assist the defense team? We can assist the defense team as ordinary people. The defense team can be assisted by trying to, help them locate the witnesses. And a lot of witnesses are just not available, or from the information that I have, even those who are available are unwilling to come forward because of the risks involved. I personally, as an advocate, have always said that, I cannot just come into the Senzo Meyiwa trial. It would be unprofessional. Things are never done that way. It is, for the relatives of the accused persons to, make their own independent decisions whether or not they would like to engage me as part of the defense team. And the initiative has to come from them. It cannot be me touting for business all over the place, which is in itself an unprofessional act. So we are willing to help in whatever way we can. We are just looking for that nod from the accused persons themselves and or their relatives. The Tabo Blessing says Dumelan, Dumela, the Tabo, Dumelan. And Sky Bridge calls him Sky Bridge. One Sky Bridge says, Hi, hi, Sky Bridge. So to get back to the topic of the day, what I'm saying is, what do you think about whistleblowing in South Africa? Do you think that whistleblowers are adequately protected? Because you see, without whistleblowers, all this corruption could not be coming to the fore. Somebody has to blow the whistle. Some corners is something of a whistleblower himself. And of course, we can see how his whistleblowing has almost ripped the whole edifice of our society into pieces. He has completely shredded the myth that South Africa, has a functioning policing system, and even there are now even doubts about the efficiency of our legal system to adequately handle matters of corruption and others. The Teko Motokala says, "Good morning, advocate," is really sad, whereby nowadays others use state powers to silence whistleblowers, and a lot of people are afraid to speak out against corruption. Yes, that is always the case. Because that is always the case. The problem is that, those who are involved in corruption will usually be highly connected people with lots of money at their disposal. So that they can easily resort maybe to instituting legal proceedings or use their power, their financial muscle and power, to silence whistleblowers. And that will probably be the end of South Africa as we know it today, because once whistleblowers are afraid to speak out against corruption, then this country is really in trouble. Because it is the whistleblowers that bring everything to the fore. Like I'm saying, look at Ntankam Kanazi. Ntankam Kanazi is a whistleblower, within the South African police service. He has clearly indicated that there were no internal, administrative structures to which you could resort to try and address some of the things that he came up with in that explosive press briefing on the 6th of July. So he blew the whistle, And where are we now? His whistleblowing led to establishment of the Matanga Commission. And had it not been for Ntankam Kanazi, where would this information all be coming from? Because this information was already there, this corruption was already there. It just needed somebody with the guts of Ntankam Kanazi to blow that whistle. And once you blow the whistle, the bed scatter and everything, just gets blown away by the wind. So whistleblowers are very important. Somebody says, Patel, I think it's not whistleblowing, it's defeating the ends of justice. I don't really know what Mr. Patel is talking about there. We are talking about whistleblowing here. We are not intending to, defeat the ends of justice. In fact, we are trying to achieve the ends of justice by whistleblowing. So the role of whistleblowers is very important. It's not to defeat the ends of justice. Rather, it is quite the contrary to that. It's quite to the contrary of that, because the intention is to, advance the cause of justice. That is what whistleblowing is all about. It can never be about defeating the ends of justice. Spongi Kumalo has just come in also and says, morning advocate, morning Spongi. And there's also another commenter Auto High Tower says, morning, whatever, babe. Yes, how are you? I'm feeling great this morning. A great good morning to all of you. Uh, I see. So, Patela says, Kumalo says, morning advocate. Anna says, Mangiwa Patela says, read the comment above the one you read. Which one is that? No, it's not about whistleblowing. I think I've read all the, not unless you direct me to a specific comment which perhaps I've not read. So that, you know, if you direct me to it, perhaps I'll read it and comment on it. Because you see, the whole idea of a live chat is to try and interact with everybody that is coming on board. So I'll try and read and comment on as many of these comments as possible, provided time allows, of course. And it really depends on the, on how rapidly or how quickly in succession they come. But at the rate at which they are coming, I think we only got about 20 or so. I think we've got about nine people. 9 people have come on board. And I know the daily fix is well supported in South Africa. So I'm expecting that in the next 2 hours. Remember, this live chat is running from 9 a.m. right up to 11 o'clock. So I expect many more other people to come on board so that we can discuss some of these issues. Anyway, so whistleblowers are very important. Patricia Mashali has played a sterling role as a whistleblower. She has been hounded from pillar to post. But true to her character, Patricia Mashali has always stuck to her guns. And in spite of, the harassment that has been meted out to her, sometimes she has tried to raise issues with people in high places and she hardly gets any comment. So it is a very, difficult sort of life that she lives because, like one of you just said, whistleblowers now are, find their lives at risk because they expose themselves to all sorts of, dangers because the rich and the powerful, the people who are involved in corruption have all the means. Sometimes they can even remove you from the face of this world. So get on board. What do you think about the plight of Patricia Mashali? The latest that Patricia faces, without getting, of course, into the merits of that case, is that she has been served with papers from the Bloemfontein High Court in which one Chinese national, one Shi, is suing her for defamation. She wants the real mastermind to retract what he claims are defamatory statements made on various social media platforms. And the matter is set down for the 23rd of October, or at least the return date of that particular court order. It's an interim order. So the return date of that order is the 23rd of October, and on or before the 23rd of October, the respondent, Patricia Mashali, the real mastermind, will have to respond to those allegations as they are set out in Shi's papers before the Bloemfontein High Court. We'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I can tell you one thing, that I'll be involved in that matter. I'm in touch with his pet, and we'll see how that one goes. But like I said, I don't want to get into the merits of it, or even to sort of speculate what the outcome is going to be, like I indicated in the last video this morning that I made. So let us keep the conversation going. Keep those comments coming. I know some of you might be watching without coming on the live chat. But I really encourage you to come up with your comments so that it becomes a two-way thing. Let us engage. Let us engage. I mustn't always be doing the talking. On the channel I'm always doing the talking, and I never get any feedback from you. So this opportunity, this live chat gives us opportunity to interact and share ideas. What do you think about the daily fix? Do you think that we are doing the right thing? That sort of thing. So somebody comes in, I think it's Mashaba. Mashaba said, "Hello, advocate Ratabaloi and Gininda must fall." Yes, these are very controversial people that we are talking about here. The Judge Rata that we are talking about there is the Judge Rata who is presiding over the Central Mayor trial. Baloi is, of course, the lead prosecutor in that matter. And Brigadier Gininda is the self-styled lead prosecutor in that matter. So there are a lot of controversies that the three of them have been involved in. Judge Ratamukhaden needs no introduction because he has involved himself in so many controversies that he has had to apologize for openly in court after you recall that incident involving advocate advocate, is it? No, not advocate Nguma, advocate Nisi. When advocate Nisi had to run the Comrades Marathon. He said some very distasteful things about black lawyers generally and indeed black people. So Judge Atta has had his own fair share of controversy in that case. Baloi and Gininda, well, you say they must fall. So many people might agree with you that the two of them must fall because you've seen a lot of, questionable decisions or questionable approaches to how the two of them have been taking this trial. For instance, the case is now mutated into, a hit. When originally Baloi, contrary to what Gininda now is saying, Baloi had indicated when he read that summary of substantial facts at the beginning of the trial that this was a robbery gone wrong. So I think sometimes Baloi and Gininda themselves, both of them, I don't think they even see eye to eye. So to a certain extent, I agree with you that they must fall. So keep on those comments rolling in. Like I said, it takes two to tango. Let us tango with you and let me get your views on the many things that you have been covering on the Daily Fix. What is it that you'd like to see on the Daily Fix? Because you see, any service, including the Daily Fix, is as good as the people behind it. It really depends on what it is one must cover, not what I want to cover, but what sort of things do my viewers want covered. That is what is important. It is not about me pursuing my own ego to determine what or what must not be covered on the Daily Fix. Because you are the backbone behind the Daily Fix, and you call the shots and I follow. So your comments are very welcome. Critical comments, supportive comments, all comments are welcome here. Because, through criticism especially, one gets to get better. There might be other things one is not aware of, which somebody coming up with a comment can easily bring to my attention. So let us keep those comments rolling in. We've been going now for about 25 minutes and we've only been out. We've got about 11 likes, I think. And something of the order of about 20, 23, chats. So let us keep it going. Let us keep it going. This is going to be a regular feature on the Daily Fix. Like I indicated earlier on, we'll have this live chat every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and it will go on for 2 hours from 9 to 11 on a weekly basis. We'll have this chat. So this is a very important, interactive platform which gets us to get to know each other better. Because you see, a live chat gives us the opportunity to, get into instant conversations. If there's something that I were to say just now, you can, chat back to me and agree or disagree with what I've said. And you can take it from there. You can take it from there. So this is the importance of a platform like this. That interaction which, can only be beneficial to both parties. So whistleblowers are an endangered species in South Africa, if I can put it that way. And they're an endangered species because, if you go out whistleblowing, you are not likely to be very popular among the rich and the powerful, the people against whom you are blowing that whistle. You know. Here comes another comment that says South African soccer history. The mafia gang involved in SAP's capture are also involved in the Senzo Meyiwa cases should be brought up in the Matanga Commission. Yes, this is very important. You see, the Matanga Commission is touching on so many matters, except the Senzo Meyiwa trial. I think it's about time that somebody who's involved, in the Matanga Commission, I mean, in the Senzo Meyiwa trial rather, gets to feature before the Matanga Commission, because a lot of the people involved in the shenanigans that we are seeing in the Senzo Meyiwa trial also feature very prominently there, right? Okay, history. Somebody says good morning. Then Takano Hoyane Johnson, my own second-born daughter, says, your daughter here, South African corruption is unfortunately worsening because of the well-connected and wealthy. Thank you very much, Takani. That's my daughter. That's my second-born. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I'm trying to talk about here, Takani. That, corruption is unfortunately worsening. We had the Zondo Commission. The Zondo Commission unraveled a lot of corruption in South Africa. And just when we thought we had seen the end of corruption, around 2017 when the current president took over, we are back where it all started. Because the revelations made by Ntankam Kanazi are shocking, So I agree with you there, Takane, that the well-connected and wealthy. Yes, it is driven by the well-connected and wealthy. And when the well-connected and wealthy, protect each other, the cancer can only get worse. Masisa also said, good morning, Advocate. Good morning, Masisa. And then that's about it. Like I was saying, corruption in South Africa, or corruption wherever it takes place, is always perpetrated by the rich and powerful, right? And they corrupt the state. You see, corruption only thrives under circumstances where institutions of state have been completely corrupted. So, like we had state capture. You see, for corruption to have thrived under under those circumstances, the first had to be state capture. You see, all the key institutions, just like Nkantam Kwanas is revealing to us now, or has already revealed to us, you see the criminal syndicates that have captured the South African police services, you know, for them to work in an environment where their activities will be able to thrive, they need to capture people in the highest places of authority. Like, for instance, a suspended minister of police, Senzo Mkulu, is implicated to be involved with dubious characters like Ket Makala and others. So criminal syndicates work in that way. They make sure that they paralyze state institutions to a point where they become dysfunctional. And once they have achieved that, it then becomes a free-for-all. I mean, the rules don't matter anymore. The law does not matter anymore. It all becomes, an issue of, stuffing their own pockets with as much money as possible. Of course, at the expense of the common men and women out there, because every, rand of that goes to corruption is a rand that could have gone to help somebody out there. This is why our infrastructure, our road infrastructure is collapsing, our health infrastructure is collapsing, largely because of corruption. Fruit Factory has come back to say, hi, advocate, how does suspended Chauke fit into the Madanga Commission? Can that be used to bring in docket 375? Yeah, 375 must certainly, be brought to the fore to people like Chauke. Because 375, is that docket that says there were no intruders into that. You see, the most puzzling thing about the Senzo Meyiwa investigation, and indeed the trial, is that how did the police in the first place come up with two parallel dockets, or two parallel theories? You see, in the investigation of any crime, investigators will sit down and, sort out the modalities of that investigation and how it is going to be conducted. And one of the first preliminary things that they have to agree on is what it is that is being investigated here. That is the first point. And who is involved. But in the sense of Meyiwa investigation, it does not seem that there was ever that agreement, because there were these two theories which were running parallel, with one set of policemen saying, well, there were intruders here, and another set of intruders saying, no, there were no intruders here. So these things have to be brought before the Matanga Commission. Because how then do you go along with any of those two theories? Right? And if you go along with one and abandon the other, like what is happening now before the Pretoria High Court, the public prosecutor alone has decided to abandon or not to say anything about docket 375. And it's only focused on docket 636, which says there were intruders into that house. That will always leave question marks hanging, because people will always be raising questions about docket 375. But if we have this docket 636 here in terms of these people are perhaps found guilty, but what about the existence of that other parallel docket 375, which identifies a different set of people as being behind the killing of Senzo Meyiwa? So this is the dilemma of it all. And I think this sort of thing must be brought before the Madanga Commission, so that South Africans can engage further with them. So we've been going now for about 35 minutes. It's been a long 35 minutes. Please keep laying those comments on. It is now raining very heavily around me. Very, very heavily. And if you guys can see, I'm sitting in the veranda here, but I'm just enjoying it. So let us keep on interacting. The live chat goes on until 11 o'clock. We still have a long way to go and there's a lot to discuss. So let's get back to whistleblowers. Whistleblowers need for protection of the state. Of the state. Like Patricia is back again and says 375 is about defeating the ends of justice. It was opened by Makubu and Zitebe in 2019. 636 is a murder docket opened in 2015. How is that parallel? Thank you for that. You see, 375 is about defeating the ends of justice. It's 375 who is being charged here. Among other people who have been charged, among some of the people who have been charged with defeating the ends of justice, is General Shadrach Sibiya, right? But 375 does not end there. It's not just about defeating the ends of justice, right? It goes on because it actually charges the people in the house with the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. It is not just about defeating the ends of justice. So Victoria and Maku were actually charging the people, some of the investigators with defeating the ends of justice. But they have gone on further to identify the people who were responsible, or the person who was actually responsible for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. So in that sense, it's a parallel docket. It's a parallel murder docket to 636. Right? That is why I'm saying that there exist two parallel dockets here. That is how parallel they are. One, two parallel dockets, murder dockets. Because 375 is also about murder and defeating the ends of justice. It's not just about defeating the ends of justice. So they are, in that sense, Matebo Patela. That is how parallel they are. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, please don't hesitate to come back to me so we can take the issue further. So let's get back to the whistleblowing. Although some of you seem to be looking at the sense of the child. I have no problem with that. You can go back to the sense of the child. But the topic of the day was, around whistleblowers and how we can get them to be protected. There's a witness protection program in South Africa in terms of which, witnesses in very high profile cases who face one threat or another are protected under that program. So I think this must be, strengthened and extended to cover defense witnesses, because most of the time that witness protection is only, offered to prosecution witnesses. It must be extended to defense witnesses so that whistleblowers come forward before the court knowing that they have the full protection of the state, so that we can get to the bottom of the widespread corruption that we are seeing in this country. So, like the saying goes, this is the way it is. It is what it is. This is the reality of the South Africa that we live in. But we must, as much as possible, try and engage with these issues, because it's not for anybody else to tackle these issues. It is the ordinary South African out there who's at the end, at the receiving end of that corruption. Because at the end of the day, corruption does not just happen somewhere else. we are the net beneficiaries or the direct victims of that corruption whenever it takes place. So it is our civic duty as citizens to stand up, and fight this corruption. Nobody is going to fight on our behalf. Fruit Factory says, thank you, Advo, for coming in for our heroine, Patricia Mashali. Thank you very much. Yeah, somebody had to step in. You have to step in. I mean, some of you people have always seen me on the daily fix calling myself an advocate. I'm very, passionate about what Patricia Mashali has been doing in her fight to, expose corruption wherever it exists. So I thought, it would be a good gesture, to come to her in her hour of need and to assist in whatever manner I can assist. So we are going forward with her on that one. I'll certainly be appearing for her as an advocate in court, and we'll take matters from there. Thank you very much, Food Factory. So that is what it is. Because most people, like Sispet said, she does not have the money to afford lawyers. And like I indicated in my opener, it can be very expensive engaging the services of an advocate in a matter like the one that Sispet is facing. It will not cost you anything less than 20,000 rand for the most junior advocate to handle that matter. So it will cost you anything upwards of 20,000, which is not a very, easy sum of money for ordinary people like you and me, perhaps, to come by. So it can become very difficult from a financial point of view to defend matters of that nature, because people just simply do not have the financial means to do so. So that is my answer to that. Thank you very much. Fruit Factory, he or she calls himself. I thank you very much, and Sispet really deserves our unwavering support at this point in time. So we're going on now for the last 42 minutes. It seems like people are very enthusiastic about this live chat. I don't know whether people are not aware of it, but with time it will be a regular feature of the daily fix. Like I said, it will be coming to you every Saturday morning between 9 and 11 o'clock. Let us interact and share, views on a number of topics. It might not just be the sense of your trial and whistleblowing. If you want to come up with something else, please feel free to do so. What do you think about the Daily Fix as a platform? And do you think that we are, covering the sort of things that you want to see covered? Saver Naidu says, greetings everybody. Greetings Saver, greetings, and welcome to the live chat. We are talking about, among other things, about corruption in South Africa. I mean, look at what is, unfolding before the Matanga Police. We are seeing all that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, told us about on the 6th of July in that press briefing. Just unfold. Everything that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said, was just true. And, listening to the testimony there of, various people who have so far appeared before that commission, I wonder what sort of counter-narratives those that are being implicated in those sort of, matters are going to say in their own defense. I'm very interested to hear what people like General Shadrach Sibi are going to say. Salva Nadu says, big up in respect, advocate, justice has to play. Yes, justice has to play. Ozzy says, you are here, my advocate. I'm here, Ozzy. Yes, I'm here. And I'm here to stay. And Kuse Mazibugo says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Kuse. And Food Factory again says, it is my time to join your live, quite interesting. Well done. Let me just attend to something here very quickly so I get out of the picture. So I'm doing, that was just a technical glitch there. Mr. Mazibuka just said, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Food says, indeed, Advo, it's my first time to join your FB Live. Quite interesting. Well done. Thank you very much for that. I hope everybody enjoys this. Like I said, this is an interactive platform. I want to get to, you have to get to see my face. You have to see me respond to questions. I'm sure there are many questions that you'd like to get to know about me, and some of the penny issues, not about me personally, because you see, things are not just about me. It's about the issues that are worrying us. Corruption, like I'm saying, is the topic of the day. So I'm looking forward to interacting with you like I'm already doing. I think now we have got about 16 people in 47 minutes. Oh, where are the people? Where is everybody? There is very few people. Because in another 13 minutes, this live broadcast will be going for an hour. But people will get on board as we go on. Get on board. This has been the first live broadcast. I think when it becomes a regular feature, like I said, it will be here every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Food Factory has come back to say, indeed, Advo, it is my first time to join every live. Quite interesting. Well done. Zodwa Tamini says, hi, advocate. Hi, Zodwa. Hi, Zodwa. Like I'm saying, this live chat is going to be a permanent feature of the Daily Fix, and it will be coming to you from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on every Saturday morning without any failure. I'm doing it from outside. I'm sitting on my veranda now as I'm speaking to you. So from time to time there'll be a car passing, but it will not muffle the sound of my voice. I'll make sure that I speak over and above those sounds as they come and sort of disturb what is going on. So it is very important that if Martin says, hi Adbo, what I don't understand is if the state president knows the law and controls, why didn't he, the police minister, immediately after police minister, wrote an unlawful letter? You see, I don't know why the state president never. I'm in my own opinion, I think Senator Mkunu should have been fired. I don't even see the necessity for a commission of inquiry that is going to cost millions and millions. Because immediately after I wrote that letter, I think it should have been dismissed because clearly that letter was unlawful. So Salva Naidu has come back to say, I believe there is more to advocate. It was an embarrassing situation for us as a country, a distinguished advocate being treated on live television. Where was the procedures and respects? Yes, I mean, therefore should not have been arrested by that. I was disgusted. I was personally disgusted by that. I think somebody had an agenda to belittle and humiliate people. Therefore should never have been arrested right inside that courtroom. It was most disgusting, and I'm very disappointed that not much was said by many people about that arrest. It was really intended to humiliate him as a person, and perhaps to discourage him from doing what he's doing, because Theophilus is a whistleblower also. Remember, he's the man that brought to our attention the existence of docket 375. So it was a very unfortunate development. Zoda Lamin is back again saying we are in trouble in this country. It's very sad. Sibia also must be fired. Yeah, General Sibia is involved in too many controversies. Because General Sibia was, you know, fired from the South African Police Services in 2015. For 7-8 years, he was outside the South African Police Services. I think this time he has beaten off more than he can chew. So let us see how things unfold before the Matanga Commission and what action is eventually taken against him, because there's also a parallel internal process within the South African Police Services, which has been put in place by the Commissioner of Police, Fani Masemola, to get him dismissed from the service. I think the sooner we get rid of people like General Chadrak Sibia, the better for the health of this country. Sodo again says, I trusted Paul. I don't know why he's also in this group of criminals. I'm sure you're talking about Paul O'Sullivan. I am equally shocked because, Paul O'Sullivan has been this, trusted forensic investigator. I never thought that you come up with the criticism that is coming up with against Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He's called Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi a criminal. That's quite explosive. But you see, until Paul O'Sullivan comes up with the necessary evidence and comes before the Matanga Commission, because he has indicated that he's willing to come before, he'll be willing to come before the Matanga Commission to testify. So, for Paul O'Sullivan must start substantiating the claims of criminality against Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that he's making. Otherwise, what he's saying will just be a lot of hot air. There's also Jamaila who says, good morning, advocate. Keep up the good work. Well done. Thank you, Jamaila. Certainly, I am humbled, by the support and, all the encouragement that I'm getting from my viewers and supporters. And I'll keep on doing my very best to ensure that I become a South African, I become a citizen of value in this country, and add value to our everyday life. Zoda Lamin says, are you still practicing as an advocate? Yes, I've still been practicing as an advocate. Very soon, I think next week I'll be in the Pretoria High Court. I practice almost everywhere, all over South Africa. I practice it at Johannesburg High Court, Victoria High Court. I also go to the Eastern Cape, PE, East London, Bishop. Yes, I'm still a practicing advocate. And also in the Free State and the Northern Cape. So I practice in at least 5 provinces. Like right now, I'm in Bloemfontein now. I'm in Bloemfontein on this rather chilly morning. So I'm still practicing as an advocate. Factory has come back to say, we will definitely join you every Saturday. Are you in Durban, close to the sea, where I hear it's raining cats and dogs? No, I'm not in Durban, I'm in Bloemfontein. I'm in Bloemfontein, and it is also raining cats and dogs here. If I can just give you a little glimpse of the sky, that's what the sky looks like. So I'm not in Durban. I don't know what my schedule looks like. My schedule always, changes so much. One of these days I might be talking with you from Durban, or from the Eastern Cape. Promise Smoothie says, good morning everyone. Why don't we do a crowdfunding for Advocate and Patricia? Just a suggestion. Yes, I think that's a good suggestion. Promise says, why don't you come up, our supporters and viewers, why don't they come up with some some kind of fund to assist his pet, financially, so that we can get things going. There are a lot of overheads which need to be patched up here and there. There'll be petrol, there'll be this and that, and I think it's a good idea, but it really depends on people, you know, whether they'll support that kind of idea. Because every time people talk about money, people just look I don't know, people just look the other way. So it's a good suggestion, promise, and it would be a good some token, donation. You don't have to. If it does happen, it can be some token donation just to sort of keep the home fires burning. So it's a good idea. I support the idea. But what do other people think? Because an idea like that can only fly if it has the support of you know other people. But like I'm saying, it's a good idea. Fruit Factory has replied to Promise to say, Promise, Muthas, that's a brilliant idea. Okay, that it's gaining support now. That idea is getting traction. Um, like I'm saying, people can contribute a modest sum of money to help this cause, because Patricia really needs your support. She really needs your support. So a little money will go a long way towards, taking care of not the legal fees. There are no legal fees involved here. We are talking about just money to take care of, the housekeeping and other attendant issues. So I am glad that the idea is getting traction with some of our viewers. Been going on for 57 long minutes. Get that chat going. I'm looking forward to you, coming up with ideas around what do you do about corruption. I don't think about the Matanga population. Selvan Naidu has come back to say, I respect your fervent efforts to assist those who cannot afford legal help. Much respect. Yes, you see, I've always believed. I always believed. I remember the reason why I became an advocate. I became an advocate, a lawyer, because I was motivated by this desire to help others less fortunate than me. And life is not about, we benchmark our achievements in life these days by the amount of money that the person has got. I've never benchmarked my life along those lines. I've always benchmarked, my success based on, whether I'm adding value to my own country. There are certain things which have got nothing to do with money, but which, in spite of the fact that they will not bring any money, have to be done. To be done. Like, for instance, the pursuit of justice. Justice is not just for the wealthy. Justice is for every one of us, because I'm a Christian. We are made in the image of God. The Constitution of South Africa guarantees equal rights to all of us. So why should, access to justice be limited to those who have the financial muscle? I don't believe in that. Justice must be. We need to level the playing field so that justice becomes, accessible to all of us, rich and poor alike. So we are nearly on the hour mark now. We are the clock is just ticking away to the hour mark. How many people have come in through here? Can somebody assist me? I might not be technology savvy, at my age. But I think about 17 people have come on board in 1 hour. But, we always got to start from somewhere. We always give. We always got to start. Fruit Factory says giving back to the community to realable. Yes, you got to give back to the community. You see, this community made me an advocate. and I really want to give back to it. Leboha Food Factory. Owen Khatebe says, hi, hello, 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 Owen. Food Factory. Fruit Factory has confirmed that from my screen is 20. Yes, that is what it is. It's 20. 20 in 1 hour. So what I mean is back again to say, hey, you are doing a good job, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for the compliments, Zodwa. I only hope to, come up with this sort of initiative to help others. Helping is so gratifying. You got to give back to your community. See, I'm saying it is my community, my own Kasi people that have made me an advocate, the advocate that I am today. So in a sense, it is my people that have made me an advocate today. And the least I can do for them is to give back, right, my services to them. And why should I only give services where there's money involved? Because not everybody will afford to pay. So this is what I'm saying. Ideally, justice is not for sale. So if you guys give me a minute or two, I will take a break and then just disappear from view just to take a quick break. Let me do this and come back. Welcome once more, I'm back again. I'm sorry for that. I had to attend to a small emergency. Anyway, so that I is back again and says, Kalasibiya, Ramaphosa, Mkulu, they need to go to jail. Yes. I mean, at the rate at which, the allegations are piling up before the Madanga Commission. The Madanga Commission, these people some action must be taken against them. You see, Commission of Inquiry must lead to something. They must lead to prosecution because it's no good just us having all these, revelations. And after that, no action is taken. This is why people are disappointed with commissions of inquiry. There's only commission people will tell you what did it achieve. A lot of the politicians who were implicated in state capture are still in their positions, and very little has happened after the country spent almost R1 billion on that commission. So what was the point of having the Zondo Commission? We just hope that the Matlanga Commission does not fall into that kind of disrepute also. promise smooth his rights. Advocate, please forward an account, not just something to cover the overheads such as petrol, your own water is, etc. Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that, and perhaps before I do that, I must also get in touch with his pet, the real mastermind, because he's the person who's really involved in this matter. I'm not a handler of money, I'm not a handler of money, so I'll get in touch with her, and perhaps that fund to sort of, that fund for her legal defense can be coordinated with her, and we'll take it up from there. But anyway, thank you very much for that suggestion, Promise. Mufi Finsiwa says, hi advocate, hi Mulifi, is it? Mulifi. Yeah, I think it's Mulifi. Hi advocate, hi Mulifi. Fruit Factory is back and says, my concern, Advo, is the commission has no teeth. Could be wrong, but I hear recommendations are not binding. Yeah, the problem with that commissions of inquiry, take the Zondo Commission itself. Right? Is the commissions of inquiry are a process that I've never had any faith in. Because you see, the commission of inquiry was set up by the state president, Cyril Ramaphosa. After it has completed its work, the commission will then hand over that report to the same state president. Now, it is up to the state president to act on those recommendations, to reject them, or to even modify them. So it is not much of a process, because it leaves everything in the hands of the state president. Parliament has got no say over what should happen to those recommendations. It is the sole prerogative of the president to make a determination about what should happen to those recommendations. So that if the Madlanga Commission, recommends that Advocate Hoyane makes a finding that Advocate Hoyane is involved in this sort of corruption, it is for the state president to decide whether I must be charged or not, right? Because recommendations are just that. They are the recommendations, nothing else, He who recommends is at the mercy of the person to whom the recommendation is being made to do something about that recommendation. That recommendation does not bind the state president. This is why I respect the parliamentary process that is unfolding before the ad hoc committee more than the commission process that we also see. Because at least with that that parliamentary ad hoc committee, after it has made its findings, these findings will then be presented to Parliament, the entire Parliament, because this is just a small ad hoc committee. And Parliament will then have to debate these issues, right? And they're going to public scrutiny, right? It is a much better process, because a commission of inquiry ends with the president. So if the president decides to sit on these recommendations for reasons unknown to us, we are really in the hands of the president. So this is why I don't have any faith in commissions of inquiry. Fruit Factory is back. He says, I'm told Commission of Inquiry in South Africa a temperature regulating device for that country. Basically, that is what they are. Let me just sort out my battery here. Let me just bear with me as I sort out my battery. I was not aware that my battery is getting low. So let me just sort out my battery, and we'll keep the conversation going, because I think it's a bit dark now, but it will take a few minutes or so to sort out. Just hang on in there, and I think I'm a bit dark now. So I'll do this. Let me just do this. Let me just do this one. we can then get. So I'm back reconnected. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. These things, sometimes we never foresee these things. But it's a learning curve for me. So I'm told commissions South Africa a temperature. Yes, commissions, fruit factory are a temperature regulating exercise because when Kankamkanazi, for instance, made those damning disclosures, when Kankamkanazi made those damning disclosures, people wanted to see action and they wanted to see action quickly. But unfortunately, the appointment of a commission of inquiry just has the effect of, sweeping everything under the carpet, regulating the temperature of the country. Because people are very enraged. And once, a commission of inquiry, gets appointed, people's tempers cool down. And things are usually just forgotten after that. So that should not be the case. Commissions of inquiry must be taken very seriously, and those recommendations that they come up with must also be treated seriously if we are going to make any progress about the many troubling issues that this country faces. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that lapse in transmission, if I can call it that, but I'm back now, and let us keep the conversation going. What do you think about corruption in South Africa? What do you think about the Matlanga Commission? There are so many issues. What do you think about what is happening to Patricia Mashali as he faces yet another lawsuit? Remember, she has just won a lawsuit in the Free State High Court. On the 8th of August, the Free State High Court ruled in her favor that, the things that she had been publishing about General Shadrach Sibia were not defamatory because they were true. So that was a victory for Sisped there. And I'm with her now on this one, which is set to take place on the 23rd of October. So let us keep the conversation going. I know that there are a lot of you who, be part of the live chat without necessarily writing any comments. But it is so encouraging, when you become part of the live chat and you actually contribute to the live chat because it tells me you are there. But it is what it is. They say these days. Things are what they are. This is the reality of the South Africa that we are living in now. And unfortunately, it's just getting out of hand, and I always pray and hope that we don't, see, syndicated crime in this country spiral out of hand. Because you see the sporadic crime, what you can call sporadic crime, and the syndicated crime. Sporadic crime is much more easy to deal with. It is generally unplanned. It is opportunistic criminals taking advantage of certain situations and then indulging in crime. So and a good example of that would be a criminal is working somewhere in some suburb, and when he passes a motor vehicle, he realizes that this car has a window which has not been rolled up. He then sees a laptop inside that car and snatches the laptop. That is sporadic crime. But syndicated crime is organized crime and involves people right at the top, and it has the potential to cripple a country because even the scale on which it is done, it runs into millions. You see what is being talked about here in the Matlanga Commission. We are not talking small money here. we are talking millions. If Martin says, "Hi, advocate, where in the whole world did you ever see a lawyer be arrested in a high court of law? They've made history, why not call people to appear the commission? They sent a lot to jail." Yeah, nowhere, Martin. Have I seen a lawyer, get arrested in a courtroom? I've never seen it happen. There is somebody out there who just wants to get rid of Tifo and make sure that Tifo just disappears from the scene. There is, I've always said, there is very crucial information that Tifo is in possession of. And somebody somewhere just wants to see Tifo to fade away so that that information does not come to the fore. So we need Tifo here. We need Tifo here. Whether he's been struck off the roll as an advocate or whether he's an ordinary citizen, we need that information. That information must come out. And I was very, encouraged by the fact that Tifo is will be one of the first witnesses set to appear before the parliamentary ad hoc committee that is looking into those explosive, revelations by Atlanta Mukwana. You also remember we have the commission and the ad hoc committee, so he'll be appearing before that ad hoc committee. And it will be a very, very, very interesting appearance because, Tifo tends to shoot from the hip. It's not your sort of, diplomatic person who will sort of, present things and beat about the bush. He really calls a spade. The man really calls a spade a spade. But I suppose at a time like this is what you want to see happen. And Tifo must come to the fore. He must also go to the Matlanga Commission. I think the man has got a lot to say. And these things are best dealt with when they are publicized, and there's a lot of publicity around them. Because if they don't get the requisite publicity, nothing ever happens. It took Ntanhla Mkhwanazi to hold that press briefing and make the revelations that he made that have shocked South Africa to this day. It took Ntanhla Mkhwanazi. So this Matlanga Commission, this is really, I really call it a Mkhwanazi Commission. Because had it not been of the revelations that Ntanhla Mkhwanazi had brought to our attention, there would be no Matlanga Commission. So we need people to come forward to address these issues. Otherwise, how would we have known about all the shenanigans going on between the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, the seizure of the 121 dockets, the closure of the political killings task team, and all those other damning disclosures? How would you have known about that if it did not take people of the courage of General Ntanhla Mkhwanazi to say so? We've been going on for 1 hour, 18 minutes. And in that time, not many people are coming on board. I've said perhaps this is because this is the first edition of the live chat. And I've said that I've indicated that it will be coming every week on Saturdays between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. So keep on rolling in those chats, and I will address them as they come in. But to go back to the topic of the day, whistleblowers are an integral part of any democracy. Because you see, we need that kind of oversight role that they play. Because whistleblowers, at a huge risk to their personal lives, divulge information which is very crucial. It is not for political gain that they expose these things. You see, there's nothing in it for whistleblowers. There's no money involved. People don't, divulge information because they are looking forward to getting any financial gain. They do it because they feel they have to, do something to make this country a better place for us to live in. So they need our protection. Usually they are not people who are, with the financial means to fight off all the challenges that they face. She's paid herself, a lot of you are already saying that, there should be some kind of fund. Some kind of fund to support her legal, to help her fight off her legal battles. I think that's a very welcome suggestion. I'll do what? I will get in touch with her and see how we can get that going. But like I'm saying, whistleblowing is an integral part of any democracy. For any democracy to function properly, you cannot afford to have institutions of state corrupted for the benefit of a few people who want to line their pockets. So it is thanks to whistleblowers that these things come to the fore. This is why they need our support in every way possible. I'm not seeing any comments coming up. I will wait and see how things pan out. But I think you are still there. Just show me that you are still there by dropping in a comment. Because if I don't see any comments, it's like I'm talking to myself. The way I wanted to do this thing was to make it some kind of two-way communication. Give you my own ideas about the various issues of national importance in this country, and also get feedback from you. So in a sense, when it gets quiet like this, and I'm the only one doing the talking, and I don't see those comments coming in, it kind of becomes a bit dull. This is what the live chat is all about, because I know that some of you are just coming on board, and like I said, people are not aware of this live chat. It's going to be a regular feature, and perhaps in time, if it becomes more regular, more people will come on board. Because I think this is the most appropriate time for everybody. Most people have not gone to work at this particular point in time. Sunday is not appropriate for a lot of us because people go to church and so on. So I thought that Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 9 to 11 would be an appropriate time. So that is the time that we're going to have it. So corruption is a cancer eating away at South Africa. Every second week, one or other official of the government is caught up in some tender corruption. From our dysfunctional municipalities. Have you ever wondered why our municipalities cannot even, provide some of the most basic, services like refuse collection? Why can a municipality not even provide a service as basic as refuse collection? So the water supply infrastructure is in ruins. Sometimes driving around our townships, you can ask yourself a lot of questions whether, was it really worth it? Who has benefited from this so-called freedom? When you see the squalor, the sheds that are mushrooming, as people invade land because, you know, they just have no other option. So that is why you can ask yourself whether freedom was really worth all the struggle. But in any way, I am an eternal optimist. Pessimism has never been a part of me. I believe that with time, things will get better. But we need to stand up collectively and say, enough is enough. Our politicians must know that they are there to serve the people of this country. And if they don't step up, if they can, they rather they will not shape up or sheep up. That's the bottom line. If politicians don't just come to the party, let us just get rid of them and find another set of politicians perhaps who live up to, expectations. So what do you think? This bird is going court on the 23rd of October. What are your views about that? What are your views about it? Are you still there? I'm not sure whether everybody is still here. We are going to the 1 hour 30-minute mark. This is scheduled to end at 11 a.m., which is just about 34 minutes away. So what do you think about corruption and, what is happening in the Senzo Meyiwa trial? The defense case is just about to kick off on, I think, the 7th of October, thereabouts. I think that this time around the defense will be prepared to, get the case going. So get those comments coming. Not unless I am talking alone now and there's nobody out there even listening to me. But I don't think so. All I have to do is to see those comments rolling in. It can be so interesting and engaging when I see you comment. So please come up with those comments and let us get this whole thing off the start, get it off your book start. Now tell me also in general terms what you think about the daily feeds. Is it the sort of service? Am I giving you the sort of service that you need? Are there perhaps some improvements that we can make to the daily feeds? Let me know. Now let's sit back for a few seconds and see whether there's going to be any response coming your way. I don't think there's any response coming our way. Perhaps we must round up this chat in about 2 minutes. But if there's nobody coming in, it then becomes a one-way thing, and that was not my intention. But anyway, thank you very much for engaging on this first live chat. I hope to see you in the next live chat next week at 9 a.m. Please like and share these live chats. Tell your colleagues about these live chats so that you can get more people on board, and we'll be giving you weekly updates on the number of things that are happening in South Africa. And I'll also give you live updates about many other things that will come. So the live chat will really be, an overview of some of the most topical things that have happened in South Africa in the last week. So let me cut this live chat short. although I schedule it for 2 hours, I think this is where I will bring it to an end. Thank you for being part of the live chat, and see you tomorrow, next week rather, next week Saturday, between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And thank you very much.